right, guys, it's now time to round this up with the final complementary cards, the basic cards, and let's see what Wanda looks like in just plain basics. So, I think this is going to be the most powerful iteration that you will be able to see for a Wanda Maximoff deck, because the neutral cards are mostly permanents that stay on the table, and if you're running mostly cards that are going to thin out your deck in a couple of turns, you're always going to be seeing your big signature cards, so you'll be able to close off these games really, really fast. So I think this is where most people are going to do, and they're just going to be maybe splashing one or two cards to kind of fit what they're trying to do with the deck, either solo or multiplayer. So let's look at what we can do. So obviously, you are definitely going to be adding all the resource cards, so the 2 powers of and the 3 devil resources in any of these basics decks, because again, that is 5 guaranteed double resource cards. So if your hero also has ways to generate resources, being in basics just got a hell of a lot better. All right, let's look at the events that you may want to run with Wanda Maximoff. Again, I don't think you're going to be wanting to run too many, but I think you're going to be wanting to run a few. One of them, I think, is going to be assess the situation, because once your deck is going to be thinned out, running these assess the situations to round off your turns is going to be amazing. So you get to play these assesses, and you'll be in hero form. You'll be having like 8-9 cards. Sometimes you'll be just laughing all the way to the bank and all the way to victory. So assess the situation. I highly recommend running at least 2 or 3 of in your basics deck. Same for spiritual meditation. It is a card that is included in our pack. You can only play it if you are the mystic. So draw 2 cards and discard a card. So this is basically cycling through your deck. So when you have a hand, I don't know what to do with this hand. Well, this is going to really help you round out your turns and just find the cards that you want to be playing with the cards you have. So it doesn't generate you any cards, but again, it just helps you find what you're looking for faster. So this is very, very useful in a basics deck, because you just want to find either your double resources, either your resource generators. So spiritual meditation, it's another 3 of event, and I am not really keen. Like I said, if you're going to choose between assess, or if you want to really limit the amount, maybe kill the assess the situations and just stick with the spiritual meditations, because those will affect you immediately instead of giving you a better later turn. So if I was going to choose between assess and spiritual meditation for Wanda, I would definitely just prioritize the spiritual meditation. And depending on what kind of deck you want to build, if you're splashing or not splashing any other of the aspect cards, maybe run both. But again, if you just want to limit the amount of events, I think those 3 spiritual meditations are going to be key. Earth's Mightiest Heroes is a great card, but I don't think it's going to make the cut here for me, unless you really want to use your Gray Avengers to ready Wanda and just to use her maximum ability to remove threat. Aside from that, I don't really see how you would want to play this card. Again, it's a 0-cost event, which is fantastic. 0-cost cards are beautiful. And again, so you can kind of exhaust your allies, use them to defend, or just ready them up, and then they can thwart for you, or if you're exhausted. So this, I like it because you can always defend, keep your allies in play, and then ready up, exhausting your allies to actually you not take as much damage, and then you be able to use your abilities as well. So again, it's a card that I do enjoy. Unfortunately, emergency and warning are probably not going to make the cut. We have enough threat removal and damage prevention, especially in basics. It's not going to make the cut. Unfortunately, poor little warning. The first aids, this is going to be, again, personal choice if you want to keep your allies alive, or if you just want to kind of filter through them and rotate them. as you see. There's some allies you kind of want to see rotate. Some allies like Heimdall or stuff like that you might want to keep in play. So maybe adding 1 to your deck or 2 is pretty good because it gives them 2 activations, and you're going to be thinning out your deck so often that you're going to, even if you're just running 1 first aid, you'll see it way more often than you think. All right, so first aids again, I think it's a 1 of for me. Well, swarm tactics, I'm not even going to talk about because you are not one of these. Athletic conditioning, again, it's hero action. Discard a status, a stun or confuse status. You don't really care. It doesn't matter. Order and Chaos, obviously this is a signature card. It's your team up card. So if you are going to be running Quicksilver, then definitely run one of these. It's a counter spell. It can always come in useful, and it deals some damage. So I like it. So definitely a 1 of because it's a maximum once. Unfortunately, Haymaker does not make the cut. You have better events that you want to play. Beat them up. The only time I would play this is if I'm actually playing against Ultron. I would run probably 2 or 3 copies of this, just to not get overrun with drones. Definitely 2 copies, maybe even 3, depending on if we're playing multiplayer or not. All right, so there you go. But in solo play, I would probably just include 1 or 2. All right, and that's only against Ultron. Anything else, I wouldn't even include this. Recuperation, it's a fun new card. I like it. You get to recover without having to recover, so you don't need to exhaust. Again, I don't think it's going to be needed. This is mostly, if you're going to be playing this, it's because you're playing Heroic, and you have to flip down, and you're running 1 of these in your deck when you'll only need like this 1 turn to heal. So I think this is going to make its way in a couple of Heroic decks. Especially if you're trying to play Heroic with Captain America and stuff like that, or other like Doctor Strange, where you or anybody, again, you get to use your recover, and if you played a downtime on yourself, because it's equal to your recovery. So if you have a downtime in your deck, and then so you're recovering for a +2, so 2 to recover for 5, I think it starts making a lot of sense. It's better than Second Wind that costs 3, so it's starting to look really good. Unless you're playing Heroic, I don't think you're going to want to be playing that card. To the rescue, you already have a Thwart of 2, so this is not really going to be a card that is going to be, tickling your fancy too much. And last one for the events is Invulnerability. Again, I don't mind this in a permanent style deck, but since you are running a lot of events, and you will be having a lot of these resources, so double resources. So if you want, you can run 1. But when you're doing your Hex Bolt, remember that if you get a 3 pip cost, a 3 boost icon card, you can always just put a tough status on yourself. That is one thing I had forgotten with the Hex Bolt. I was so focused on dealing what the villain can do that I forgot that, I can give myself a status card too. So that is it. So for me, I think the only event cards that I'll be running are maybe a First Aid, definitely the Assess the Situation and Meditation, maybe one of these, and then the First Aids. So these are pretty much the only viable event cards, and they all cost 0. After that, for support, obviously, Avengers Tower. It's only if you're planning on just rotating your Avengers. I'm talking about. If you're not going to be running Nick Fury, which I really doubt that you are, but this is going to be until they release more basic Avenger cards. Right now, there's only War Machine that is an Avenger, so yeah, there's no real point of running this card unless you want to have a reduction for your Pietro ally. So, like I said, you're paying 2 to reduce 2 cards out of your deck. So for me, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. All right, so I don't think it's an auto include. Team building exercise, same here. The only thing I like about team building exercise, it is actually reduces the cost of Queen Carrier, Avengers Mansion, Avengers Tower, and your Avengers. So I think there's a lot more options for this one to make sense. So this is probably 90% of the time will be a 1 of in my deck. In any Avenger, because again, it pays for Queen Carrier, So again, and this is definitely one that you want. Helicarrier is another one that you want, again, because any kind of resource generation is going to just make your turns go so much smoother. All right, so think about it. Oh, I have a hand size of 5. This kind of compensates for that. So if you have a Helicarrier, Queen Carrier, those are 2 extra resources. So if you have a hand size of 6, and now you have a hand size technically plus 2, because you're not spending cards to play those cards. So for me, those make tons of sense. After that, it's going to be the Avengers Mansion, which is, again, you're an Avenger. Team building exercise pays for Avenger for 1. So these cards start costing a lot less. And plus, if you have the powers of in all of us and a double resource, this just makes complete sense. All right, so obviously you want to be putting almost every support card in here. And then the expert cards. All right, the expert cards. The upgrade cards. This I'm definitely recommending running 3 of and just dump them on yourself. You have 10 health. Bring your health up to 13 with that, and then you're going to be laughing. Even if you start taking damage, you're like, whatever, I'll take the hit. And then further down the line, you just put an endurance, so you're at like 16 health. You're more powerful than She-Hulk or right now without her upgrade. So I think these honorary Avengers makes a hell of a lot of sense. So definitely you want to run 3 of those in a basics deck. Civic Duty and Adrenaline Rush. Again, you're not your brother. You're not running. You're not readying 100 times. So these cards for me they don't make it. Even though they're cool, if you want to thin out your deck, but there's so many good cards in protection to thin out your deck. These ones, they don't really make any sense unless you want to use them when, oh shoot, I need a thwart of 3 this turn. I'm like, oh okay, then you know what? I'll just pop it and use it, and that's where it can kind of make sense. And just to even out these scheming turns, these thwarting turns. Endurance for Shizzle, play that card again. Bringing your health up by an extra 3 hit points is massive. In a lot of the games, it makes a big difference. You can stay in that hero form way longer. So for me, obviously, endurance is an auto include. You can only play if you have a spy character. Now, the great thing with basics is Nick Fury's a spy, and then Mockingbird's a spy. So this is a card that you may want to include into your build, just because, again, when something surges, you get to draw cards. Christmas. And then with Wanda, you want to have more cards. So I don't think running 3 of is a good idea, but I think having 1 on the field or 2 is not too shabby. All right. So there you go. 1 or 2 of these. And this is a maybe if you have nothing better to play. Target acquired, I think, is smart. Having always 1 target acquired on the field is a very smart play, especially with all these new star icons on almost everything now. Every villain has these star icons except for Rhino. So, and like a lot of the modulars have those little star icons. So yeah, so target acquired makes perfect sense here in any deck. It's only max 1 per player, so running just 1 is more than enough for your deck build. And then downtime, yeah, definitely run a downtime, because when you do need to recovering for 5, even if you're down to 2 health and then you get to go up to 7, it's going to make a big difference. Even staying 2 turns in Alter Ego. So, that extra +2 and +2 on the next turn makes you back into the fight and just ready to just kick some butt and not worry about flipping down ever again. So I think I like it. Obviously, it's a 1 of. These are actually cards I don't mind playing. Resourcefulness. It thins out your deck, and if you ever need an extra resource, well, it's there, or else you just thin out your deck with those. When we're talking about thinning out the deck with the adrenaline rushes or other things, I think the resourceful is just having that extra card. Plus, there's Vision on it, so it's kind of thematic having Vision and Wanda together, even though Vision's not there, but he's there in your resourcefulness mind. All right, so that for me is definitely a card that you want to start thinking about if you are looking for spots to fill. Sorcerer Supreme, obviously you've seen it in every deck build almost. You just want to put that card in. That +1 hand size, she can use it. Definitely get that +1 hand size in hero form. It's a no-brainer. And then the powers of, the 3 powers of, again, depending what you want to do, if you want to, if you're looking for more resources and more resources, but at one point you're just going to have too many resources and nothing to do with them. So I don't think her deck needs them. There's nothing specific that you can trigger with the specific resources. So for me, it's definitely a hard pass on that. And then finally, the last upgrade is Tenacity. Same thing. You're not your brother. you're not Quicksilver. What can you your basic stats are not that amazing. What is amazing is your event. So Tenacity is a big hard pass for me. And then it makes it very simple to go into the last thing. And the allies. Again, this is allies. You probably just want to run all of them because they're all awesome. So all the basic allies kick butt. So from Ironheart to Mockingbird to Miles Morales to Nick Fury to War Machine and finally Heimdall. Again, these cards are often paid with one cost or two cards because you have all these double resources in your deck. So it makes perfect sense to run all of them. So don't be shy. Put all of these cards into your deck. All right, so that is it. Like, it's not that complicated. The main plan with a basics deck is just to thin out your deck as quickly as possible. Have these really powerful allies that can just help you manage everything on the table, and then just win the game. All right, so we'll build a nice little deck. We'll try to figure something out there. Something simple. Just basically it's deck thinning. It's nothing more than deck thinning your deck. It just deck thin. There's no real strategy. Deck thinning is the strategy. Just putting your deck with all the lowest possible cards that you can have. So I'm going to build a deck, and it's going to be very similar to that leadership deck that we built, where it's basically just resources for Wanda to do her stuff. And again, it's like I said, it's going to feel thematic because, again, she's just going to be using her magic out of control, and just keep her in basics is super strong. All right, let's look at this in a sec. So here we go, guys. So here's the deck. Super simple. We're running 3 spiritual meditations. That's just to make sure that we always has a perfect hand. That is the only event that we are running. Like I said, it's the only thing. Oh, wait. Let me just go up a little bit here. All right, so this is our event. And then for our support cards, really simple. Like I said, we're just going to be running all of them, all 4 supports. As far as upgrades, again, we're just going to be running all this on Scarlet Witch. We're going to be running the triple honorary Avengers. We're going to be running the Sorcerer Supreme, Endurance, and Downtime, plus a target acquired. So all these cards are staying on the field. Again, anything that costs 0, just play it. Get it out of your deck as fast as possible. And then after that, we're just running all of the allies. Heimdall, Ironheart, Mockingbird, Spider-Man, Nick Fury, and War Machine. And then we're just finishing off with all the double resources. Again, super simple, 40-card deck, extremely efficient, thinning out your deck. So if you take a look, by the end of your first deck pass, you should have about 12 to 14 cards on the table. So bringing your deck size from 40 to about 28. Which means on the second deck pass, if you're putting all of your Scarlet Witch stuff, with your crest and everything else, you should be down to about 22 card deck. And then if you haven't won by then you're on the verge of winning, because your allies will keep threat under control. Don't be afraid to flip down back and forth and just really destroy. Because again, if you're looking at what's going to be staying on the table. So just let's say there's always 3 allies on the table. So let's say 1, 2, and 3. And then everything else is going to be in your deck. And then Agatha's going to be here. That's going to be here. You're going to put your magic shields there. And then we already have our 3 allies. So maybe you want Quicksilver, but your deck basically is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21 cards. So that's 19 permanents on the table. By the end of your second deck pass, 99% of the time. There's no if and buts about it. It's just going to happen naturally. That's why this deck is so out of control. And basics is just super strong with her, because again, even the same thing with Quicksilver. Once you do that, the same kind of build, you can just get rid of everyone. Now, if you want to change it up a little bit, if you don't want to have, I would recommend keeping this guy, and then if you want to always keep a couple of allies, so keeping Heimdall and Quicksilver, and then just rotate, and then just maybe get rid of Ironheart, maybe get rid of War Machine, and just rotate these 3 allies over and over and over, because you'll see them almost every turn. Like Mockingbird will give you the stun and then just block, so she's never taking damage. Heimdall is always doing that, and then replace these 2 with two what's it called, first aids, and then basically keep Heimdall on the table and Quicksilver on the table the entire game, and then just keep rotating these 3. And again, this is a quick variant of what you can do. I just like War Machine because he has tough, and so he can do a lot of stuff as well. But I think I think this is probably the better deal. Just having these 3 allies that you can rotate, and then those 2 first aids to just keep the game rolling and just winning. Yeah, I think that's going to be the deck build. If I'm doing basics, this is 100% what I'm going to be doing. So very, very easy, very quick deck build. Don't even need to think about it too long. That's what it is. All right, guys. So I hope this helps you. This is going to complete roundup of Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, with all the aspects and basics, how you can play her, what kind of deck strategies are you looking at. And I hope this is going to help you understand this wonderful character. And I hope this helps you beat the game. Bye-bye.